Welcome to SaaS Reality, a podcast where two budding founders talk about their businesses. Join Simon and Dean to find out what it really takes to build, launch, and run a SaaS product. Morning, Dean.
Morning, Simon. Here we are again.
Yes. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Not been a great week, but yeah, we'll go into that in a bit. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. I've had a busy week doing other things, really. So ultimately hasn't been the sole focus. Been lots of away from keyboard activities.
Not necessarily a bad thing.
No. I presume it's more blues about AWS news last week, or is it something else?
Yeah, I switched kind of back into customer development mode.
Yeah.
But this time, when I first announced the first iteration, which was CloudDoc, I spoke to some consultancies to see if it'd be a solution they'd be interested in.
Yeah.
Which was a yes. But kind of framing it differently now after reading the mom test. I think everybody...
Oh, what? And going and asking AWS consultants what their issues are with AWS and...
Yeah, and how are they solving the problem of getting their heads around a new infrastructure rather than offering a solution?
Okay.
One, it's very difficult finding the right people because although I've got access to 40-odd thousand certified AWS people through the private LinkedIn group, most of them are just regular guys doing regular jobs, DevOps jobs or development, and just happen to have an interest in AWS. Trying to find the guys that actually do the architecting and have to understand infrastructures. It's proving quite difficult, to be honest. So I'm about 60 people in, speaking to 60 people through LinkedIn.
Like 60 people have responded, or you sent out 60?
Sent out 60 messages. I would think there's probably only a handful that haven't replied, actually.
Okay.
But most of them just don't deal with the new infrastructures day to day. So they're just not the right target. And just finding really difficult to find people. The ones that are doing it don't seem to be that bothered about having a tool to make life easier.
Okay.
So it's not looking good for CloudPeriscope. It looks like it might be for the chop.
Is that because you're like fishing to take away their jobs or like potentially? Yeah.
I don't know. This is something that I would want in the job that I do. But just the documentation side, it's not a SaaS business. It's a one-off, really. It's an occasional use product, I think.
Oh, okay.
Which is what I'm not looking to build. So I think it's turning into that more and more. Yeah, there is the option to go head to head with a few other competitors and just analyze the cost and usage report and still track the financials and so on. But I think that's dodgy ground with the moves that Amazon are making at the moment.
AWS, they're definitely always active. They're very active with development, aren't they? When people build workarounds to get something to happen, they're like, okay, well, it seems like people want a solution there. So
yeah, Amazon are a bit nasty in that way, in that if they see a market opportunity, they will just roll their own solution and they have no bones about just crushing a market sector.
I'm not sure nasty is the right.
No, well, yeah, it's good business, isn't it, I suppose?
Yeah.
So on that front, a bit down on things about that. Additionally, the trademark office have come back to me to say they believe that CloudPeriscope clashes with another trademark called Periscope.
The Twitter streaming service.
No. It's a company that own the registered trademark for Periscope to do with data analytics and stuff. And they're the ones that actually opposed and stopped Twitter getting the UK trademark.
Good luck.
So, the money's been paid. The application for the trademark is going to go through anyway. Can't get the money back. So it's very, very likely to get opposed. So the trademark won't be there, which would mean a name change if I proceeded. So it's all looking a bit bleak, to be honest, at the moment.
Oh, I'm there.
Yeah, so a bit down about it this week. But, that's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Part of the success of being successful is knowing when to quit and when to kill an idea. So, and I think I've been quite good at that. Lots of ideas, haven't poured too much time into them. Fair bit of time into this one, I have to say. But I'm not just going to crack on like I did with Website Watchdog when my heart really wasn't in it and it wasn't really
it's weird
what I wanted to do.
Website Watchdog is weird because in the time since when you announced or, I started talking to you and you told me about it, in that time I've seen so many people build products, like so many sort of developers like ourselves release small ping checking apps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Possibly like 5 or 6. If you gave me time, I could name 5 or 6 people who've entered the space.
Yeah. It used to be that developers built their own project management or bug tracker, but it seems to be now they make their own monitoring tool.
Yeah. Well, I think, with the whole mindset of keep things simple and don't go too complicated and just get something out, it's like, that's got the simplest domain in some respects. In other respects, it's quite difficult. I'd now gutted. In 2011, I started building a product called Your Website Is.
Yeah.
I don't know why I called it that, but my original idea was to troll people on Twitter and tell them that their websites were rubbish. But then I thought, this could be a product, like your website is down, your website's up. And I started building it, and then I just didn't have like the capacity of development skills in 2011 to actually pull it off. I was still rolling my own framework, so I spent so long building framework. Like looking back now, should have just built it and got on with it.
Yeah, I mean,
I should have also built Snapshooter then as well, but hey.
Yeah. I mean, monitoring on the face of it is quite a simple thing to do, but when you get into the bones of it,
notifications is I always found more difficult, and then reliability,
scaling, and reliability is seriously hard. And also, I mean, most of them do checks on SSL certificates, TLS certificates, but most of them don't detect when one's been cancelled. Can't remember the term they use now for it, but if the upstream key
gets retracted or whatever,
and very difficult to scale monitoring stuff. It's fine if you're only running a few servers, but when you're dealing with a lot of stuff.
That was the other thing. I was trying to build it from scale to start with. So
yeah, it's just the margins on it are very low. It's got to be up 24/7 really. So if you can't rely on your monitoring tool, there's no point in using it, is there? So
yeah, that's weird. You just reminded me. I used this really weird technology called Gearman, which was like a open source framework for doing jobs. So you could send jobs from one server to another and stuff. Now it's so much easier with like Laravel and stuff. Just does that all for you. But this was like crazy. You have to. Yeah, I forgot about that. It was a good learning exercise into how not to do it.
Yeah, I mean, Website Watchdog and, to be honest, CloudPeriscope have broken one of my cardinal rules. Website Watchdog, it was mission critical.
Yes.
And CloudPeriscope built on somebody else's platform and relies on an API. It's like, don't do that. Yeah.
You literally just described both my businesses.
Yeah, I think you're safe with Stripe, although they might come along and do some better emailing.
I can't remember if last week I said I was 95% sure this guy was going to convert.
Yes, he'd not converted at the time.
Now I can say 100% he converted.
Woo!
So I have my first $19 in monthly recurring revenue.
That's brilliant.
In the business.
Well done.
Yeah. Probably should file with HMRC now saying that I'm trading. Potentially. You get 3 months, but yeah.
Yeah. So that's great.
Yeah, so I'm glad. And I got another customer on who probably wouldn't want to be mentioned without being asked, but they're quite a hip startup, I describe them as, and he's come on board, but I emailed him to say, you've struggled with the setup, it seems. And I managed to bring him back on board. I had a phone call and we explained why the DNS is such a nightmare to set up.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, okay, I'm cool. That's brilliant. I'll just get on with it then. And I talked to him on Twitter last night and he's just like, your setup costs are really high. And until you explain the value on the phone of doing the DNS properly so you can get those DKMI and SPF records, it was just like a barrier. And the other products he's tried in the space don't require that. They do their emailing through their own service.
Right. Okay.
For example, it's good from a setup point of view, but I think from a reputation and delivery rate sort of point of view, not fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. There's 2 ways to do validations now with most email providers. You can either do an email one where they send you an email, you validate it, and then that's that email you can then send with, but just never find it as good as doing a proper DNS setup, setting all your records correct. If you want that 100% delivery rates.
Yeah, and if it's coming from their own domain as well.
Yeah, so sometimes they do a mix, it seems. So
yeah, it's more recognizable. I mean, if it's from...
Well, that's one of my features is you're not sending from @stripe.com.
Yeah, from example.com on behalf of...
Yeah, no.
Yeah, whatever.
So I guess the other news while we're talking ultimately is I'm still having issues with the Stripe API in a Connect account.
Right.
I looked in the IRC history. I opened this. I started mentioning this a month ago, and I went back on IRC and went through it again and confirmed it as a bug. So it's definitely a problem their end. However, I decided to crack on with the actual hosted billing page just by faking the API keys for now, just so I can get the payment intent.
Yeah.
Sorry. Just so I can get the payment intent stuff sorted.
Uh-huh.
And I've now got a workflow now where you get sent to a page, a billing page, you fill in your card, it will do the SCA authentication or whatever you would call it, check if required, and then it's, off to the races again. So I'm really glad with that. This is my solution to also fixing Snapshooter at the same time.
All right, cool.
So I won't have to go back to Snapshooter and fix all that billing.
2 in 1. That's always good.
Yeah, that's good. So I think I'm pretty confident that they're going to fix this. It's a known bug. It's not. Sometimes it's not a bug. It's literally a feature. So, for example, they don't want Connect accounts to do this, so it's never going to be available. However, they've admitted that this is a real fault and it will be fixed. So it is something that should be there, and I can code presuming it's there. So I'm just going to carry on with that. It's just a case of trying to work out what the focus is on Automeli.
Right, okay.
Sort of struggling really to think, if I've got an afternoon, what am I going to work on? Am I going to work on the landing page? Am I going to work on trying to improve the onboarding? Am I going to, last night I recorded a video of how to build a workflow. So I just need to, I don't know, I'm just chipping away and seeing what works.
Yeah, you had good feedback about the email setup and so on.
Yeah, so that might be something to look at while it's still fresh in my mind.
Yeah, I would prioritize that. If people are thinking that's a barrier. What was the other guy like with that? Did he find it a problem?
Slightly. He emailed me to say he was trying to put the record in and it wouldn't let him. And I was like, make sure there's no spaces. And then he was like, it's working fine. Brilliant. Great. So he was fine, really.
Is that something you could offer as a concierge service to start with, just to get people on board? I know it doesn't scale, but.
Or maybe just have at the top, put your card in. And then you can arrange a phone call and we'll just walk through setting up your DNS.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not charging them anything, but I'm kind of saying, be serious, put your card in, and then we'll go from there. Or maybe I just offer it for free. My thinking is I don't have enough people coming through the door that's creating a problem. The few people who come through the door have had issues, but until I get more people coming in and then having issues, that makes sense.
Mm.
It's like finishing the last step of the pipeline without having anyone coming into the top of the funnel.
Yeah.
So
those that do come in, you want to make sure they stick though, don't you? So
that's what I'm like. Anytime someone signs up, I'm just email contact.
Yeah, cool. So maybe you just offer it there saying, happy to help you set up your.
I've started adding some email workflows now. What would you say? It's very meta. Is it meta? Would you say it's Automeli sending emails for Automeli customers?
Yes.
So I now have a workflow that basically checks after a couple of days whether you've set your DNS up. And then if you haven't, it will send you an email with a link to Calendly saying, arrange a call. And I've got a little slot in the afternoon that I'll pick up and chat with people. So
cool. Yeah.
I should really blog that and make it into a blog. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was great feedback that you got about that. So that's one area.
Yeah. I think what I should do is I should plot the graph that Snapshooter had from its first customer, try and see if I can keep on that trajectory, because it feels like I've got that sign up. It's fantastic, but nothing's happening now.
Mm.
But I remember Snapshooter was just like that. Someone signed up and it was 2 weeks before someone else signed up, and I'm already months ahead of Snapshooter's income.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
So how would you get Automeli out there? How would you get more eyeballs on it and more sign up? That's really your thing, isn't it, at the moment? You've got a functioning product. There's improvements to be made, but you got to fill that funnel, really. So,
yeah, I think I'm going to focus on some landing pages. The customer who just signed up, who was really keen, the hip guy, he said he was more than happy to talk about their landing pages because their monthly revenue growth is just insane.
Really?
They're up to about, then if I can say really, I'll say and I'll never mention them. They're up to £1,000 in monthly recurring revenue in something like 3 weeks from going live.
Cool.
So it's like a rocket ship.
Yeah, if it's one I'm thinking of, my sister's a customer of theirs as well. I pointed it out to her. She needed that service. So, yeah.
It's really cryptic.
Yeah, well, it's not fair to say who they are, is it? So
no, not without asking. So yeah, I'm just looking at Snapshooter. It took 2 months to get to $18. So we'll see. So this week I'm just going to be working on bits and bobs, it seems. Some landing pages here, which seem to be really quite key. SEO is doing well. Got quite good domain authority because of the link from Stripe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to try and keep working on that. And then just bits and bobs. Yourself, I guess you're going to resume customer development just because you've already opened that line of inquiry.
Yeah, I'll keep that going. We're having kind of a weekend away this weekend, just a break after everything that's gone on in the family.
Yeah.
But it is with relatives, so I will have some time this weekend. So I'm actually going to try and filter through my LinkedIn connections better and just find those consultancies, I think, and see what's going on there. I've also been looking through notes of an idea that's on the back burner because it needs some input from my wife because she's the domain expert there.
Mm-hmm.
She's got headspace now to talk to me and look at things on that. So I've paid a few bucks and bought access to Quick Admin Panel from Povolus. Just knocking up a very rough proof of concept thing. Spent about 3 hours on it so far. I'm going to stick it in front of my wife, say, what's missing, what's working, what don't you like? Try and ignore that it's just basic CRUD forms.
Yep.
And see if that's got any legs at the moment, because if she's not quite there in terms of headspace to do it with me, then that one needs to just be put back on the back burner for a while.
Yeah.
But that could be something that starts fairly soon. I think I'm resigned to the fact that CloudPeriscope's a no-go.
Okay.
I'd like to try and find like a micro SaaS to do. Just something small and quick. I can't think of anything at the moment.
A ping monitoring app.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice to just have an idea for something small.
Yeah, even if you don't charge for something, I've done some like small projects in the past which didn't go anywhere, but I like really enjoyed and bashed out in a week. For example, I made one that you just connect to your GitHub account and it'll automatically add like 20 sensible labels to a project. And that was just like, I literally went through the full process of building, getting the email set up, getting it on Product Hunt, getting it it didn't do very well, but I went through basically the full setup.
Yeah. Something a bit smaller that I can get out would be good, but can't think of anything at the moment. I have other ideas. Point and click IAM policy builder for Amazon, but again, that's quite complicated behind the scenes.
Yeah. Maybe maybe just look in a different area of the market.
Might help just getting away from the house for a weekend because I work here, live here, don't get out much.
And on that depressing note, I think we should wrap up.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. It was great chatting with you, Dean. Thanks for listening to the SaaS Reality podcast. Why not head over to saasreality.com and join our Slack community? You can send questions to podcast@saasreality.com. And please give us a rating and a review wherever you listen to podcasts. Catch you later, Dean.
Speak to you next week. Bye.
Bye.